Hi, my name is Tiffany Skidmore. I'm a composer based in Buffalo, New York right now. Thanks for having me on the show, Skylar. So, the first question, what does new music or experimental music mean to me? Well, I agree with Skylar that these names are pretty problematic. They don't really necessarily communicate what this music is about, and it's so different from person to person. But I would say that new music, in the way that I think most people think of it, just means that it was created by someone who's alive. Although, obviously, a lot of people still think of music from the Second Viennese School, like Schoenberg and Webern and Berg, as new music too. So some people even have a much broader definition. Experimental music, I think, gets a little closer to what I do with my music. Uh, Although I don't consider every aspect of my pieces to be a series of experiments, I do start out with some sort of experimentation, either in the way I think about the sounds or the form, or the way that I approach rhythm, or something that I've never done before is usually an important element to every new piece. So although it isn't perfect, I do think experimental music has often some kind of experimentation at the heart of it, or at least an experimental spirit. Um, so the way that I work for question number two is that I often start with some kind of text, or some kind of other artwork that is interesting to me in some way. I don't always, but very often I'm interested in poetic structures and speech inflection. And I'm a vocalist, so I think a lot about ornaments, vocal ornaments, and things like that. And sometimes I'm interested in using those as sort of a skeleton for the basis, a skeleton basis for a piece. And I often also think that people connect very deeply to songs. And so, even though on the surface, my music is often very intricate, lots of complex rhythms and pitches, lots of pitches, at the at an underlying level, there's always some slower sort of song rhythm that underpins everything, because I think that even if that's not necessarily apparent right away, it I think it might seep into the consciousness of the listeners. Maybe it doesn't, but I feel it. Um, and then I choose a pitch collection that feels related to whatever I'm exploring and that feels meaningful to me. The pitch collection is often microtonal because I'm interested in a very fine color gradient, a very fine sound gradient. And then once I have sort of filled in my skeleton with the notes and rhythms, I spend a lot of time thinking very deeply about contour. And then I start shading with timbre and other details to try to bring sort of a picture into relief. Um, so, a secret that I want to share with you is that I think the best composition exercise that I was ever given by a teacher was by a teacher that Skylar and I both studied with when we were undergraduates. And one day he told us that we needed to compose a new piece every single day for it must have been at least 2 weeks, because I have a lot of these little pieces, and the pieces didn't have to be long, but just forcing myself to create something completely new every single day from scratch stretched me in ways that I never could have imagined. And I'm so grateful for that experience. So if you've never tried that, I would recommend it.